Hi, I'm Liselle Sambury and welcome back to my channel. Today is another creative author chat. I will link up below the last one I did, which was a while ago now, but basically what this video is, or what these videos are, is that I kind of do something fun and creative that you can watch on the screen, and then I chit chat about something while I'm doing it through the voiceover. Last time I did in real time, that was a mistake. Now I'm smart enough to do a voiceover. And yeah, so then you kind of have something to watch on the screen if you want to. You could throw this up in the background, treat it like a podcast, whatever you like. And this week I'm talking more about debut feelings. I know I talked about that last time, but it's very salient to me right now. I swear I will talk about other things, other topics later, but that's just, it's coming up. And as of the day I'm doing this voice over, my book Blood Like Magic is coming out in a month. So it's coming out June 15th. If you don't know, my debut young adult novel Blood Like Magic is coming out from Margaret K. McElderry / Simon and Schuster on June 15th. It's about a family of Black witches living in a near future Toronto, and in particular, the one Black witch who is forced to choose between killing her first love or losing her family's magic forever. And so I'm going to chit chat about my feelings about being 1 month away from debut and other such related topics while I'm working on this anime glass painting. So this is my first time doing this, so don't judge me too harshly. But I've seen these, I first saw these on TikTok, and then I was like, oh my gosh, that's like really cool. And then I happened to see a YouTube video, probably through the power of like algorithms and ads and what other data things. I saw a video on YouTube recommended to me about like doing anime paintings, and I was like, you know what? This would be a fun thing for a creative author chat. And so basically you like paint on a sheet of acrylic a scene from an anime, and then it's an anime glass painting. So I'm using acrylic paints here and a Sharpie oil-based paint pen. I also used Posca pens. This was a mistake. The Posca ink smudged and like basically ruined part of the painting. So don't use Posca pens, use Sharpie oil-based pens. And I will do that in the future, because it was actually really fun and I would do this in the future. And I'll also link in the description the links that I use to learn how to do this. So if this is something you're interested in doing and want to learn how to do, you can check out the link in the description and learn. But anyway, the topic of debut feelings. So I am a month away from my book coming out, my very first published book, the third book I've written. And yeah, feelings about my book journey in general. It is kind of wild to realize that something that I started in November 2017 is now going to come to fruition like however many years later. I can't even count the years because I'm bad at math, but 4 years later, now the book is going to be out. And even though people are reading it, like they're reading advanced copies, which is like so weird for me to conceptualize. I don't know how I'm going to deal with it once like anyone could just like go into a bookstore and buy it and read it, which is of course what I want, but it's also like really strange. It's not even stressful anymore. It used to be stressful because I would worry like that people would hate it, and I think that's still in the back of my mind, but I think it's just weird. It's very strange. It's very surreal. It feels like it's happening to someone else, even when I get excited about stuff in my own book. So that's wild. And it means a lot though to know that this journey that I've been on for so long, trying to do this, is going to finally happen. I'll have a book on shelves and I'll be an author, and I like have more books that are going to come out, and I'll just like keep doing that. And that's yeah, it's a wild feeling for sure. Stress level wise, I'm actually doing really well. I'm very chill. I'm very laid back. I'm not really stressed about anything. The things that I was like feel stressed about, like it stays for a week, and then after a week I'm not stressed about it anymore. Not even because it resolved itself, just because I realize that I'm being ridiculous and everything is fine and it's going to be okay, and then I'm over it. But yeah, my stress level was very good. And I think, like, to me, what that comes down to was the decision I made. Oh my gosh, I can't even remember. But a few months back, because, you know, I was lucky to have authors talk to me about their experiences and things like that. I had made this decision to ask my publisher for like as much as possible to see what they could do for me, and to do that first instead of trying to do everything, instead of assuming that I wouldn't get things and doing it all by myself initially and like stressing myself out. I decided that I would ask them, and I was pleasantly surprised in that my publisher was willing to do a lot of things for me. Some things I'd already done I didn't need to do, you know, like printing book plates. They've sent me some more book plates for some other things, but you know, that was something I didn't really need to do on my own if I didn't want to. But I am happy I did it because I think my book plates are cute. So I'm happy I did that. But yeah, so I really leaned into, you know, asking my publisher to do these things for me because it's their job, right? You know, they're promoting the book. And I know there's this whole thing of like, you know, publishers not doing anything for you and not doing all this stuff for you that like people tell you when you're getting into the industry. And sometimes I know people are saying it out of the good of their hearts because they want you to be prepared and they don't want you to be shocked and, you know, feel like it's coming out of nowhere if you don't get all these things that you thought you would. And so I understand that, but it also, that was the reason why I thought I couldn't ask for anything, because I had assumed that I was going to get nothing. And the opposite happened. They actually done a lot for me. They've done graphics, and like today I posted an animated book cover that they did for me. My Canadian publisher is helping organize launch stuff for me. And you know, there are things that I've asked my publisher for where they've said no, and I've understood and I've moved on from it, and that's fine. But I'm really glad for all the things that I asked for, because, you know, a lot of those things came through. And then also the like default things that your publisher does for you, assuming they're a good publisher, is, you know, they pitch you to podcasts and blogs and media outlets and things like that. And so those requests have come through publicity for, you know, X blog wants to know if you can do an interview or you can do a guest post, or this podcast wants to have you on, and like, when are you available to record with them? Most of those things have come through my publisher. And the things that I organized, because I started off, I organized minimally because of me making that decision that I was going to really rely on my publisher. And so I solicited 3 blog opportunities and 1 podcast opportunity and 1 book conference opportunity. And that's what I solicited. And everything else has been either people have mostly it's been people coming through the publisher, or it's been people who have just like messaged me and been like, hey, are you interested in doing X? And so it's been really low stress for me because I haven't felt like I'm trying to do a million things, and I haven't felt the pressure as like I'm trying to sell my book, because that's not even what I'm doing. Like, I don't think that I sell copies. Like, I don't think that's something I do. I think if I sell copies, it's very passively. Like, you know, my YouTube channel, if people watch my YouTube channel and they're interested in the book and then they go out and buy the book, like, to me, that's quite passive. But like contacting bookstores and like pitching myself and like doing all that stuff is things that I really like just make me so anxious. I just really, it's very stressful for me. And like, that feels like selling myself, which I do find selling my book, which I find stressful. And so leaning into, doing, asking my publisher for things, it's really their job to sell the book. And that's happening, right? That's happening whether I'm aware of it or not, because there are sales meetings and things like that occur. And so leaning away from me feeling like I have to sell copies and I have to make sales and I have to be the one that creates the success, has been really helpful, because I wrote the book, and that is the best way that I can try and create success for the book, is just, me writing the book. And I've already done that. So everything else is gravy, my effort wise, essentially. So I've been really chill in that aspect. I have made a launch trailer that I'm going to post on launch. I have some other videos that I'm going to post on YouTube that I still have to make. That's the only thing I have to get done. So I'm like, oh, Liselle, you need to start doing that stuff. I think I'm actually going to film one, on Monday, because I need to, I gotta start getting that stuff done. But I'm not stressed about it, because I feel like I still have a lot of time to do that and to get those things done and to get that content done. But again, that's not even content that I think will sell the book to people. I just wanted to put out a bunch of fun Blood Like Magic related content during my debut month to celebrate my debut. So look forward to those coming your way in the future. So my stress level is very good. I feel really chill. At one point, I felt like I was too chill, and I was like, is something wrong? I was like, is nothing happening? I felt this sudden panic. I felt panicked about not being panicked, essentially. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? If you're wondering why I'm flipping around the glass, it's because you have to check and make sure that the light isn't shining through. And so that's why I'm flipping it around and holding it up to the light to make sure that I don't have any gaps. So that's what I'm doing with the painting. And if you're wondering why, you're like, why are you painting it so strangely? You have to paint it in layers because it's mirrored. So I'm painting all the shadows first, and then I'll go over and I'll paint, the bigger sections over top of that, because I'm going to layer the paint on top. So in case you're like, what is going on with this painting? That's what's going on with this painting. But yeah, I'm feeling chill. I'm feeling good. I'm impatient. I high key kind of want the book to come out faster, but I know I don't truly want that. But I kind of do. I don't know. I'm just impatient. I can't wait for it to be out there. But I also know I should wait, especially in Ontario with the way lockdown is going. If I want to be able to go see my book in person, it really needs to come out on the date it's coming out. That was a time where I was like, wow, I'm really glad I'm not June 1st. Not only because so many people are June 1st and I would just feel overwhelmed, but also because our lockdown isn't supposed to end until June 2nd. And who even knows, because our lockdown was originally supposed to end May 20th, and then it was pushed to June 2nd. So I'm glad that it's later on, because then I have a higher chance of being able to go into the bookstore and see it. But yeah, that stress level is low. I did have a little bit of a week of stress around launch events. So it's seeming like I'm going to be doing 3, and 2 of them I am organizing, and 1 my Canadian publisher is organizing for me. And so 2 out of the 3 of those, I have a confirmed author guest, and 1 I don't, and it's it's causing me a bit of panic, because that's one where, we're looking for more of a moderator, and just kind of figuring that out. But, so that I had a bit of panic, because I was like, what if we can't find anyone? But it was just a ridiculous extra panic. I really didn't need to be that much. And also I've seen launches now, where people also have a conversation, a Q&A with someone from the bookstore or someone from their publishing team, that's the one my Canadian team is organizing, and I know they're not going to hang me out to dry. And I eventually convinced myself of that and made myself understand that, and then I wasn't really stressed anymore and I was normal. So that's like the one thing that I was like panic about, but I've calmed down on that now, and I just kind of gotta iron out the other launch events. But once those are all ironed out, of course, post that on my social media if you're interested in attending those. So yeah, I'm pretty calm about those as well. I think I'm only going to be doing 3, and I like that. I don't like the idea of being like overloaded on the actual launch week. I kind of want to be able to have time to chill and like just enjoy having my book launch as much as I can in quarantine. But yeah, I think I'm gonna get some sort of cake. Originally I thought I would get an ice cream cake, but there is a bakery in town. I don't think they can do like print things, so I don't think they can print like my book cover on anything. It's a small town. There's not really anyone that does that. But they can make like a themed cake, and I think I might actually prefer that. So we'll see how that goes. But otherwise, other things to think about as I get closer to debut date is also how I work on my projects the closer I get to debut day. Because I'm not sure how I'm going to feel around that time. So during Camp Nano in April, I worked on an adult horror. I'm planning to start working on that again next week, on Monday. Not Monday as in the video this is coming out. It's weird because I'm filming on a different day. The 17th of May is the day I'm talking about. And so I plan to start working on that project again. But I need a larger amount of time. I'm going to do a whole vlog talking about that and working on that project and all of that, so you can look forward to that happening. But yeah, I'm gonna need some time for that, and I'm like looking at my Google Calendar and the time, and the time I would need to work on it would basically be butting me up right against release day. And I'm like, is that legitimate, Liselle? Or are you gonna freak out if you are working on that at the same time? But I don't know. I just know. I don't know. It's hard to tell because I'm aware that I am a productivity hoe. And so but I also feel like I manage my time well. I feel like I basically just work on my books when I'm working on them, a maximum of like 2 hours a day. And so it's hard for me to think that I wouldn't be able to take out 2 hours of my day to work on it. And so I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I can continue to work on new projects. But then there's also that panic because people are like, oh my God, your debut month is so wild. And so it's like, will I just be like freaking out or so busy, or what is it going to be like? But I think the thing for me is like everything is going to be virtual. It's not like I'm going to be running around town or anything. Yeah, there isn't a local indie in the town that I live in. And so, my indie stuff is being done through indies in Toronto that I want to support. Toronto is my hometown, forever home. And also there's no indie where I live. So I'd rather support them, and that makes me really happy. So it's not like I'm going to be running around to different indies like signing books. We have one bookstore. I will go there and sign books, but I can't even really promote that I went there and signed books because my town is so small. I don't like to say the name of it so that people don't know where I live. So I wouldn't even really advertise that I had gone and signed there. So I just don't picture in my head things being so frantic that I couldn't also work on a book. But who knows, maybe my mind would just be preoccupied. But anyway, so that's something I've been thinking about, is like, I want to work on it, but will I have time? But I've just kind of decided I'll just work on it, and if I need to put it aside, then I can put it aside. It's not like it's a contract book. I haven't sold that book yet, we'll say. Hopefully I do, but we'll see. And yeah, as for other projects, there's also my sequel, which is a contracted project. So I do have to work on that. I handed in edits for that last week. That was my first round of developmental edits with my editor. And because of the timing around when your first book comes out and when your second book comes out, your second book is going to come out pretty much around the same time that your first book came out. So with the timing with edits, you end up doing edits very close to the time when your book is releasing. And this is something I've definitely noticed in our debut group. You know, people are like, yeah, I gotta hand in my line edits like a day before my book releases. So I'm also cognizant of that and like the preparation of that and like having to juggle those deadlines as well. So that's something that I'm also thinking about as debut draws closer, is like, how am I going to organize working on other projects as I get closer to release? Because I don't really know how busy I'll be. I feel like my calendar looks normal now. I don't know if that will suddenly frantically change for whatever reason, but right now my calendar is quite normal. I have a few things happening in May, but like June is pretty clear. But I don't know. But I also think that's something I just kind of that I'll be getting used to as an author. But something I'm also really excited about as I get closer to debut is like thinking about my book after debut. I'm really excited for when I just have a book out, because the pain has been, you know, if people want to like check out what my novels are like and see what that writing is like, or they're like, oh my gosh, I'd like to support you and like buy your book. I'm like, pre-order it and you can get it sometime in the future. And if you're not a book person, like just random family members, like that's so difficult for them to like conceptualize and understand. And so it'll be nice for me once the book is out. I can be like, yeah, you can just go get the book wherever. And then I'll always have a book out, which is kind of fun because even as I'm promoting my sequel, if someone discovers that I'm an author and they're like, hey, I'd love to read something you have, I can be like, oh yeah, I've just got this book that's out here. And that's like really exciting to me. I don't know. And exciting just to like be building a backlist to like, you know, because I am contracted, I'm booked up for books until 2024. And so it's kind of wild to think about, you know, come 2024, I'll have 3 books that are just like out in the world for whomever. And I'll always have that backlist that people could go back and read. And so that's something that's really exciting to me for whatever reason. I don't know. I just find it really exciting. And I also am really happy to have things that will be going on after my debut release date. So I'm really thankful to my publisher for like having things organized for me after my debut. So it's not like everything was leading up to my debut and then after the book releases, I have nothing going on. I still have things to look forward to and be excited about. And so I'm really excited about that as well. It's so weird. I feel like I'm more excited for like being post debut than I am for like the actual release week. So I don't know. I'm like that. Oh, and here we are done with the painting. Watch me gingerly turn it over. There we go. So you'll see with Kageyama, who's the guy on the left, you'll see that his like face and stuff is smudged. That's because of the Posca pens. It's annoying, but whatever. The rest of the painting I'm really happy with. I think it's super cute. I'm really like happy about having it. I've been trying to hide it in my room for so long because I didn't have this video posted, but there it is. And that's it for me chatting about being a month from debut. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And just, yeah, thank you for being here as I share all my thoughts about being a month away from debut. As I said before, links in the description for how to do anime painting, and also links in the description if you're interested in pre-ordering Blood Like Magic or learning more about it. Okay, bye!